Hello and welcome back. We are going to hit you lot with another what, why do women, so on and so forth. Today we're going to dive into the topic of why do women...
What was that? Sorry.
What?
So on and so forth. What?
So on and so forth. Like, why do women? Because we did...
Oh, yes. Sorry.
It's fine.
Sorry.
Today's topic is why do women stay with cheating?
Why?
For what? Now, obviously, this is open to interpretation. We are not generalizing for all women. We are just giving our 2 cents and based off of what we have, how we've spoken to other women and just all that jazz. So, would you like to start or?
I can start. So first of all, we're not trying to be insensitive or anything like that. If you happen to be with a cheating man, and you know what, actually, this is so random, but do you remember when we watched This Christmas? And what was her face? Was it Lisa? Was clearly staying with her man who was cheating, but she was like, I ain't got no qualifications and what I'm gonna do, and I've got 2 kids and it's just easier. And I think that's like one of the main things. If you have kids, if you feel like you won't be able to make it on your own, I feel like that's why. I think it's so easy for people to go, and we're not those people obviously, but it's so easy for people to go, oh, why don't you just leave him? Like, why would you stay with a cheating man? I would never do that, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, it depends on the woman's circumstance.
Exactly.
And if there is kids involved, will you be able to like make it on your own? Like, do you have any family to support you, any friends? Like, because I know for a fact, if that was me, if I was completely on my own, had no qualifications, no job, kids to support, of course I'm not just gonna like think about me and only me. I'm going to think, right, am I going to be able to feed my fucking kids?
Am I going to be able to give them a life that they deserve? I was going to say it's circumstances, number one.
Yeah.
Because whether or not it's, do I have the means to support my children without him, because he's the number one breadwinner?
Yeah.
Or it's confidence. Is it a case of, oh, I cheated, and then especially if you're with like a prick that's like, oh, well, you know, you let yourself go.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I did. Which every woman has their own insecurities.
Yeah.
So absolutely, of course, you want your man to look at you and be like, that's my girl. But if you're with someone who is telling you like, oh, you let yourself go, or you have all these insecurities anyway, and then they cheat and they're like, they put it back on you.
Yeah.
That's another reason. And it's like, I think as far as this Christmas, when she was like, you know, I have no qualifications and, you know, things like splitting up the kids, like a lot of women do it for the kids, which I understand. But at the end of the day, you are going to be left with that man when the kids grow up and they have their own lives. And I think it's better for the kids to grow up in a loving household where they see either the mum is just doing her thing, she's thugging it out, than to be in a household where you're consistently arguing or taking sly digs at your partner because his presence irritates the fuck out of you, which eventually you get to that point. But I definitely think those 2 are what I would assume are the number one factors. And then, you know, it's the same, like, I think it just depends on like who you're with, because if you're with someone that's just, he can't get it together, he can't commit, and you're just like, no, I'm gonna change him, then it's just like, babes, no, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's very sad, like, that some women are in this situation and don't feel like they can do better. Like, I just hate hearing those ones where it's like, oh, no one will want me, and if the man is like, you know, you, as you said, like, you've let yourself go or whatever, or you're never going to find anyone, and you've got kids, and that's considered baggage or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a really difficult one.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's not something. I feel like a lot of men, mainly, no offense, but that's just the truth. Like, they don't understand like what women have to think of, especially if kids are involved.
Absolutely, because we take the brunt of it all.
Yeah.
We have to start over. We have to be the ones that, you know, do all of that. But then it also goes into, because, you know, we're doing wider women, because I know that I've seen some stories of when women cheat on men ruthlessly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my girl.
Yeah.
It's like, and the men have been destroyed. So I think it all goes on circumstance, but it's like, those two, I think cheating in general is just one of those things where I'm like, let's have a conversation, because it's just, don't do that.
Yeah.
That's the easy way out.
Speaking of women cheating on men, I don't know why this just popped into my head, but you know, so this woman was cheating on her man, yeah, and she had her sideman come and pick her up at her yard, and her man was like watching her, like, get into the car, like, who's that, like, and then she pretended like it was an Uber, and she was just like, bye babe, like, have a good day or whatever, and gets into the back seat, pretends, and obviously just lets him drive, just fucking drive, and yeah, pretended like it was her Uber, and then they went off and cheated.
See?
That's mad.
So crazy. It's so crazy. Like, how do you have the balls to do that? Like,
Because how would you know?
Yeah, come pick me up.
Yeah.
Just, at your house. Yeah, just pull up. Take you when you're outside and I'll come out.
Yeah. Oh my god, that just killed me.
And
That's
then you
so
just
bad.
be like, bye babe. Give him a little kiss on the cheek. Whatever. Get in your Uber. Honestly.
Mental.
It's mental on both parts. Because I know this is the Why Women series. But sometimes there's things that I've heard, and like, even when, I don't know if I showed you the one where this guy had a baby, and it was his little girl, and then when she was 1, I think he found out that the baby wasn't his.
No.
He got the baby tatted on him. Like, they live separate, but he's a YouTuber, and don't ask me his name because I can't tell you. I'd have to find it for you.
Okay.
He's a YouTuber, and he had, like, they were like, oh, you know, they had a baby shower, everything. Meanwhile, my girl knows he's not the father, but she picked him out of the 2 that she was with, because she was like, oh, he's more stable, he can provide for the baby. Loved the baby, everything. Made a whole video, and he's bawling his eyes out, and he's like, it's not mine. Like, his whole family like mourned this baby when they were moving the crib out of the house, everything. And I'm like, how do you do that? How do you see someone that's like so excited? She did the whole presented him with the pregnancy test, saw him get so happy.
Oh my god.
And you know deep down that that's not his you.
How can she live with herself?
How do you do that to the daughter?
Yeah.
Because the other father wasn't present, like he didn't really give a shit. So it's like, well, you don't give a shit, but you can't just be like, you don't give a shit, so I'm gonna go to this one who does.
Yeah.
Like, so it was.
Was the guy and the woman like in love?
At one point, yeah, but they had broken up.
Could she not have just said like, look, listen, I was with my ex, got pregnant, I'm now with you, I want to be with you, but I'm pregnant, I'm about to have his kid. Like, maybe he would have stayed.
He said he would have. He said in the video, if she would have been open and honest, I would have stayed. I would have supported her.
Yeah.
Because he loved that girl. And it's like, she was, I guess, in between both. She had dated him and then she messed with this guy. And then they broke it off. So, but then she found out she was pregnant. And she was like, oh, I'm pregnant. And he was like, okay, we'll co-parent. They had it locked. Like, he would pick up the baby. He was so good with her as well. And yeah, he documented the whole process, and I think I follow him on, I don't know if it's Instagram or whatever. I followed him just purely because I was like, you poor soul.
Yeah. You have to find this person. I need to know who it is.
I'm gonna find him for you. And
Okay.
he was just like, when he explained it, and she was just like, I'm so sorry, but I had to do what was best for like the baby, and I wanted you to be the father.
Yeah.
And it's
As
like,
fucked as it sounds, like, I kind of get it a little bit. I'm not condoning it. I don't support this. I would never do this, but I can understand her side.
Yeah.
She must have panicked. Obviously, she was like, "Fuck! Oh my god, I don't want to lose this great guy, and I'm having a baby." And like, I kind of get it, but she still shouldn't have done it.
She went about it in the wrong way, and like, you do it for a year.
Yeah.
And then the only way he found out is because he posted a picture. Obviously, he's a YouTuber. He posted a picture of the baby.
Yeah.
And then he was like, the father was like, ask for a DNA test. Ever realize why she doesn't look like you?
I was about to say, like, what, do they look alike?
She didn't look like him.
Like, how so? Like, not the same skin color? Like,
I mean, she was a bit. I think the baby was a bit darker, but he was like a light-skinned Spanish guy. And he had distinctive features where if he had a child, you would know.
Yeah.
And the baby didn't look like him. And they would even make videos together and be like, she looks just like her mama. And I was like, not really.
Yeah.
She looks like her daddy.
Yeah.
And then he sent a picture of the two of them, like the split screen, him and the baby. And then he was like, oh my God, that's who she looks like. And then he asked for a DNA test, she refused. He asked for a DNA test, she refused. I think he took it to court. They got a DNA test. And then he found out there ain't none of that baby he knew. But now, I think he patched it up where he does get to see the baby so often because he's like, I want to be a part of her life. Like, I can't imagine not being a part of her life. Like, it was the most heartbreaking sets of TikToks I've ever watched.
Shit.
Ever watched. So
TikTok
sidetracked.
honestly has like...
So sidetracked.
Yeah, TikTok honestly has like this left turn that just goes down like telenovela TikTok. Like, it's
honestly,
just mad.
Honestly. But going back to the why, I know, it's honestly so heartbreaking. Going back to why women wanted to dive into why women like tall men.
Oh my God, I've seen this. I've seen this go around. So, you know what? Yeah, like, it makes me laugh how much guys get so emotional over their height. And it's just like, I love to tease a guy over his height.
We love short kings.
Yeah, did you see that meme where it was like, short kings, it's windy out there, make sure you hold on to something. It was so funny.
Who was going on random guys' lives, and she would just type, yeah, short king, do your thing. And he was like, short king, I'm 6. Yeah. Like, they get so touchy. Speaking of that, this is the fact I was going to tell you.
Okay.
So I obviously Googled why do women like tall men, and it was just like, yeah, women, you know, and it said, fun fact, height is the second most lied about feature on dating apps.
I can believe that.
Job
100%.
being number one. And I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
get it.
It's not really an issue for me, but do you know what? Like, it's never been an issue for me, but because it's become this huge thing, I feel like I've kind of accidentally jumped on this bandwagon, just like not knowing I've done it. Yeah, because it's like, if I see a guy say like, oh, I'm like 5'6", I'll be like, ugh. Like, I can't help it.
Yeah.
Can't help it. Even though I'm like 5'3". I know, I'm like 5'3", so I'm like, he's gonna be taller than me anyway. It's not hard to be taller than me, but it's still a bit like, why are you so close to Do you know what I mean?
Because I'm 5'7". So I think I've been with 2 guys that are taller than me. One, I was like 6 foot, and I was like, oh Lord, this is nice.
Yeah.
I can say it's nice to be with a tall guy when you're a tall girl. I've also been with guys shorter than me. The majority of them have either been my height or shorter than me. And it's doable, it's just not the vibe.
Yeah, it's
not the vibe.
It's a bit awkward.
It's like...
You just feel a bit, I mean, not that I've experienced it, but you feel... I
have to position myself sometimes in certain ways where it's like, you don't. And then if we're sitting somewhere and I can see my legs are taller than you, it's like...
Yeah.
Turn your legs.
I know.
But again, I'm not someone who's like, I cannot. But girls that are like 5'11", they struggle. That's a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't, if I liked a guy and he was below 6 foot, I wouldn't be like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, you just move from me, I'm not speaking to you, like, I wouldn't, like, there are some girls who are genuinely like, if you're not over 6 foot, don't even look in my direction. Like, that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. But yeah, I think it's just like, especially mainly for tall girls, they want a guy who's obviously taller than them because they're tall themselves. But if it's like shorter girls, I know like it's mainly the short girls who want a guy who's like over 6'2". And it's like, why? You're so tiny. And it's, I don't know, I think they like feeling really small. Yeah. They want a climbing frame.
Yeah, literally. They just want an at-home climbing frame.
Yeah. So I just don't know.
I mean, it's one of them ones where it's like, if he's taller than me, I'm like, rah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. But 9 times out of 10, I'm like, same height.
Oh.
Or it's like, he's a little shorter than me. To summarize, it's just like, I think we have two very good perspectives because obviously we're different heights.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those ones where for me, as a tall girl, average heighted woman, I would like someone that if I've had a bad day, it would be nice to just put my head on your chest and be like, instead of being like, sit down so I
rest your head on top of their head.
It's just a nice, it's more, I guess it feels more masculine.
Yeah.
But again, it works the same if he's the same height or shorter. I mean, obviously there's a cap.
Yeah.
For me.
You're absolutely right. What you said about it's more masculine. Like, if I'm taller than a guy, I'm gonna feel like, I just don't know. I feel like I'm gonna carry myself in a different way.
Right?
Because I'm gonna feel like I'm mad.
Trust me, you do.
I'm gonna be like, come on, princess. Let me take you out. I'm gonna drive with my hand on your thigh. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. Trust me, I'm telling you, you do. I'm telling you, you do. You move different.
Yeah.
You move different. You move very much.
You just want to feel like a guy.
Especially when, like, if you're out and then he says something to you and you look down.
Yeah.
It's like, what'd you say, babe?
Oh God.
It's a different vibe, and I don't even think you know that you're doing it.
Yeah.
But it's just, again, it's not. I think ultimately women don't care. Like if you have a solid connection and if you have a meaningful relationship, as long as that's the aim, it is what it is. But ultimately, it's just nice.
Yeah.
It's just nice.
That's it. So yeah, I feel like a lot of guys get triggered by it because I feel like women, they just twist the knife in and make it seem like it's this huge thing. Really, truly, it's actually not. But it's just funny how pressed guys get about their height.
Like, I've seen guys wear the shoes with the wedge in the actual shoe.
Yeah.
So the shoe looks normal on the
shameful.
outside. And I'm like, but you will have to take off.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll step down like you've been in heels.
Imagine, just take it with pride.
Yeah.
Like, no, I won't get into that right now.
What?
No, I was going to say someone from work, but no.
Oh.
Anyways, before I get myself in trouble, we're going to end this here. Let us know if there's any more how women, or any series that you think, any questions that we can dive into.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.